I'm back for week 2 with distributive property. So first, let's talk about what distributive property is. It involves either multiplication and addition or multiplication and subtraction. The term outside of the parentheses is being multiplied by each term inside the parentheses. So if you'll look at your foldable and find the flap that says 3y times 4 plus 5. With distributive property, what you're doing, like we said, is taking the term that is outside of the parentheses, that would be our 3y, and we are multiplying it by each term inside of the parentheses. So we're saying 3y times 4, which would be 12y. And then we're saying 3y times 5, which would be 15y. Now, we are not done because what do we have here? We have like terms. So now we say 12y plus 15y, which would give us 27y. Okay, now find the flap that says 2 times x plus 4. And underneath the flap, let's solve this one. Simplify this expression. So we would say again, 2 times x and 2 times 4. So 2 times x is 2x, and then 2 times 4 is positive 8. We do not have any like terms, so therefore we are finished. The next tab that we're going to look at is 5 times p minus 5. So again, we multiply the term that's outside of the parentheses with each term inside of the parentheses. So we're saying 5 times p, which would be 5p. And then we're saying 5 times negative 5, which would be negative 25. We do not have any like terms, so again, this is in simplest form. Now let's go to the flap that has 12 times g minus h. So we take our 12 and multiply it by g. 12 times g is 12g. And then we say 12 times negative h, which is a negative 12h. We do not have any like terms, so we are finished. I threw in a couple of other examples to show you because these are important to know. This first one says 2 minus, then it says times 6x minus 5. Well, in algebra, when you have this minus next to the parentheses, that's really an imaginary 1 there. So you're having to distribute a negative 1 with everything inside of the parentheses. This 2 is not right next to the parentheses, so the 2 comes down. Now we take negative 1 and we multiply it times 6x, which is going to give us a negative 6x. And then we say negative 1 times negative 5 is going to give us a positive 5. Now we look to see if we have any like terms, and in this case we have 2 constants, so those are like terms. So we end up with a negative 6x plus 7. I hope you're writing this down on the paper somewhere in your composition book. Here's one more example that again is not in your foldable, but I wanted to include. Here we have outside of the parentheses a negative 2. The x is not right next to the parentheses, so therefore the x comes down. Now we are going to distribute the negative 2 with everything inside of the parentheses. So a negative 2 times 3x is going to give us a, not positive, it's going to be negative. So we're going to have a negative 6x, and then a negative 2 times 4 is going to be a negative 8. And now we look to see if we have any like terms. I see x and negative 6x. Again, sitting in front of this x is our imaginary 1. So a positive 1 and a negative 6 give us negative 5x, and then we have minus 8. And that takes care of distributive property. This should be a review, the majority of it from last year, and tomorrow in class we'll be practicing distributive property.